Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to make a new function for our drawbot that can make it do a turn. So we're going to have a left function and a right function where we pass in the angle. 360 degrees, for example, would be a complete circle. So in order to do this, we need to actually write that function. Okay, so we're going to say def left. We'll pass in self and the angle. Okay, and then we want to have it, and we're going to basically copy this stuff from our forward function. Okay, so Control C to copy, Control V to paste, get rid of the spacing here. Okay, and so we have to turn our angle into a distance in millimeters. Okay, and so we're going to say distance equals self dot angle to distance, and we'll pass in the angle. Okay, and then we're going to take that distance, turn the steps, and then here, and since we're turning left, the left motor is actually going to go backwards and the right will go forwards, and so it's going to turn in place. Okay, and this is really important that we get this right. Okay, and this is also a reason why it was important for us to calibrate the wheel diameter. Yours was probably like 64 point something or 63 point something. I'm just going to guess something here. And then we're going to also have a separate variable called wheel, let's say drawbot width. And this is basically the distance between the centers of the two wheels. So if we were to measure this, basically from, we'll get this better from that camera. We want to measure from right here to right there, and that distance is going to be our drawbot width. Okay, and so I'm going to just throw in a value here, and then later, just like the other one, we're going to calibrate it. So let's say it was 100 millimeters for now. Okay, and so just a little bit of a reminder of about how circles work. So I've got two formulas here. This one right here is a formula that we use to calculate the distance around a circle based on the number of radian angle we want to travel. And so this is a physics formula. This is actually one of the main reasons we use radians, because it makes it really easy to calculate distances. Okay, and so we need to use this formula, but our angle is in degrees, and so we have to first convert our degrees into, let me put this right here, into radians. Okay, and so, but basically what we're doing is this. So we have our drawbot, and let's say, let's try to make this a little bigger. Okay, so here's our drawbot. Okay, this is the center of it, and it's going to turn like this, right? And we want to know how far on the circle to turn, so we're going to take our angle in degrees, and we're going to convert it to radians by multiplying by pi, then dividing by 180, and then we're going to take those radians and multiply by the radius to get our actual distance around the circle that the wheels need to travel. And so if then our distance will then be equal to the radians, which we'll use theta, times the radius. Okay, and for radius, it's going to be, or radians is going to be, so theta equal to pi over 180 times theta in degrees. So this is R, and that's D. Okay, so now we're going to substitute that into here, and so we're going to say distance is equal to pi divided by 180 times the angle in degrees, and then times the radius. Now, we don't know the radius, we do know the diameter, and so remember that diameter is equal to twice the radius, so if we divide the 2 over, then radius is diameter over 2. Okay, so we'll plug that in right here, and so we get the distance is equal to pi over 180 times our angle in degrees times the diameter over 2. And we're going to take that 2 and put it right here. So get rid of that. We're going to turn it into 360. And so this is the formula we need to use to convert our angle to our distance. So let's come back over to here, and we have our angle to distance formula that we're creating. And so we're going to say def angle to distance self comma angle. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking our we're going to say our diameter, so which is our drawbot width. Oop, I made it too big. I said 1,000. It should be 100 here. And you're going to actually measure it. So drawbot width. And then we're going to multiply that by the angle, which is in degrees, times pi times, or rather divided by 360. And we're just going to return that. Okay? And now it's going to go left. If we didn't make any mistakes, it's going to go left. If you run this, it should complete a full circle. Okay? So once you got that done, I want you to come in and make a copy of this and modify it to have a right function. And then you can kind of try playing around. You could try even combining lefts and forwards and reverses and see if you could start like by drawing a shape or creating a shape.